criticisms from the elite sector of the Catholic Church and from big business that felt threatened by his pro-poor vision. On the other hand, ERAP enjoyed broad support from such mass-based religious movements as the El Shaddai and the Iglesia ni Cristo. Came election time. Once again, the masses did not fail ERAP. ERAP's votes were the highest in Philippine history, with the widest margin ever over his closest rival. The poor and the downtrodden had finally realized their dream. They had finally succeeded in installing the father of the masses in Manila. Although ERAP won, his running mate did not make it. Gloria Macapagal Arroyo from the rival party won the vice presidency. ERAP's induction broke tradition in that he chose to hold it at the historic Venezuelan church in Malolos instead of the Quirino grandstand as a symbolic gesture of paying tribute to the cradle of the First Philippine Republic. That afternoon, the new president faced the nation in his inaugural speech at the Quirino grandstand in Luneta. ERAP presented his priority programs that were in keeping with his beliefs and principles. Growth with equity.
Kayo ang unang makikibahagi sa biyaya mula sa ekonomiya at mula sa pamahalaan. Sabot ang ating makakaya, bibigyan natin ang masa ng disenteng tahanan, sapat na pagkain at pag-asa sa hinaharap.
Good governance.
Walang kaibigan, walang kumpare, walang kamag-anak o anak na maaaring magsamantalahin. Huwag niyo kong subukan.
And grassroots empowerment.
Panahon na upang mapabilis ang padangat sa kabuhayan ng masang Pilipino. Panahon na upang magkaroon ng lalong malaking bahagi sa yaman ng ating bansa, ang masang Pilipino.
At last, the masses now had their own hero in the palace. ERAP immediately organized his cabinet, which was composed of experts known for their integrity and expertise in their respective fields, and who likewise shared the new president's pro-poor vision. With full trust and confidence, ERAP appointed Vice President Gloria Arroyo to a cabinet position, despite her affiliation with a rival party. Gloria Arroyo was appointed Secretary of the Department of Social Welfare and Development. The interest of the country was foremost in ERAP's mind when he removed all sovereign government guarantees. A sovereign guarantee is an assurance that the government will shoulder all the losses of private corporations like the independent power producers who entered into business with the government. President Estrada did not allow any sovereign or government guarantee under administration. He immediately addressed the problem of corruption and ordered the probe of suspicious transactions entered into by the previous administration. As a result, forces aligned with former President Ramos began to view ERAP as a threat to their interests. launched an intensified cleanup of the bureaucracy, firing corrupt officials in the military and the police. This made him a thorn in the side of the syndicates operating in the PNP and AFP. The elite segment of the church became even more agitated when their request for a ceasefire was rejected by President Estrada, who argued that the ceasefire would endanger the lives of the government forces pursuing the MILF rebels. ERAP also opposed the move by big business interests running the giant utilities in power, water, and transportation for a crippling price hike. ERAP made it clear that under his administration, big business can never put one over the masses. ERAP also ran after suspected big-time tax evaders, even if they were his friends and supporters. President Estrada's pro-poor programs bore fruit. In just 2 years, the peace and order situation improved. Philippine National Police went up. An intensified mass housing program was pursued in various parts of the country. The improvement of the agriculture sector got top priority. Medicines for the poor were made widely available. Foreign investments in the country increased. And not one of the cabinet members got involved in any scandal. Temporarily moved out of Malacanang, he left behind 121.9 billion pesos in the national coffers. As life began to improve for the masses, big business and the church elite became more anxious as they experienced a waning of their influence in government under President Estrada. But the moment they had been waiting for finally came. A politician who had a grudge on President Estrada broke into the scene. A politician who had been dubbed a demonstrably corrupt politician by an American court judge, Chavit Singson, who was then being probed for the anomaly over the missing billions of pesos from the tobacco excise tax fund, came out with false charges against Estrada.